It's Big Game James McCarty.
And Jace, Denman, live from Boulder, Colorado.
The Petro fan cam. Game just got over here in Boulder. Bison ended up falling 31-26 in a heartbreaker. I had a 31-27 prediction. The 2-point conversion, I wish they would have gotten it, so that would have, I would have rather been wrong. I had them score more points.
Sure. Well, and I think it kind of played out not quite like I thought, as far as like being like the University of Arizona game a couple of years ago, but still kind of like I was expecting. It's going to be closer than people thought. We saw like anywhere up from 9 to 10 point spread. Bison covered the spread, number one. Number two, we saw that the over-under, I think last time you told me was at 60. We're at the under. So if I would have been a betting man, at least bet on those two things, I would have come up aces tonight. But you know what? Overall, the atmosphere. I cannot get over the atmosphere.
We're going to get some more videos and stuff posted up about that. We had just under 50,000 strong here this evening. It was absolutely tremendous. The way the student section got into it, the band was, the Bison faithful were absolutely tremendous. Cam Miller, you know what? He takes a lot of heat, a lot of flack from not even, from media in general, from fans, from all kinds of people. But that young man, he was 18 of 22 passing tonight. I mean, he just did everything he needed to do. Over 200 yards passing. He had himself 16 carries for, he net 81 yards. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, he really hit a passing touchdown. Did some very good things, and I'm telling you what, right now, with guys like Sanders out there and like Travis Hunter, if he's able to play that well with that secondary, watch out FCS the rest of the season, because I think Cam, he got a little better.
I think he did, and obviously having Joe Stuffle back was helpful. Obviously he's got a good chemistry with the younger, kind of newer wide receivers. Was it Braylon Henderson? And you got Bryce Lance out there. All the receivers did well. 4 receivers caught passes. Minimum was 4. 2 of them had 4. 2 of them had 5. So they did really well. And the Bison, for the most part, James, they really controlled the tempo in the first half. They went into the half with a lead, 20-17. Buffalo's got a field goal right before the half, but overall they were really where they wanted to be. Just didn't quite get the execution that they wanted in that third quarter. That was the difference in that game, was that third quarter, if you ask me.
Yeah, very much so. The Bison as well, they controlled the clock, 36-44 for time of possession to 23-16 for Colorado. But in the second half, it felt as though Colorado capitalized a little bit more. They controlled possessions a bit more. They had a possession that was over a dozen plays that they scored a touchdown on. It was 8 minutes off the clock. It felt very Bison-esque, except they were throwing the ball in the flats, things of those sorts. So this is going to be, you don't want moral victories. I know the guys are disappointed, but this is going to fuel this squad this season in a 12-game regular season. It's going to really open up some people's eyes. I did like as well post-game press conference, both Braylon Henderson, Cam Miller, they had talked about how they were frustrated. That was probably the best way to put it. Just because it was the last crack in an FBS. They're seniors this year, and they felt as though that there were missed plays, not just one, not just 2, but there were missed plays in each drive, each quarter, and just all throughout the game, and to still be within 5 points and have that Hail Mary at the end where it was caught at the, I believe, 4.5 yard line, somewhere there.
I think they marked them out at the 6. So, I mean, they were a few yards short, but, ultimately, when they got that touchdown by Cam Miller with about 2:19 to go, you had to think that maybe there was a chance. Unfortunately, they were down 1 timeout because they needed to take a timeout in that second half. Only had 2 left, but they did have the 2-minute warning. Just not quite enough time. I think if they would have had a little bit more time, we might have seen an upset tonight.
And another thing with Coach Polasek, I had asked him after the game, just his thought on kicking the ball deep with about 2:19, 2:20 to go in the game, having those 2 timeouts. And what I love is, 1, he educated me on his thought process, but 2, he also didn't back down from his decision on it. Here's what he thought the numbers said. Here's all the different things that went into that. The analytics driven, paired with a little bit of his confidence of what he thought was best for the team. They still got the ball back, even though maybe it was a little bit later than I would have thought. Regardless, he was the man calling the plays. I think he ended up making a good decision in the end, and it was absolutely tremendous to see the way that they responded from this. At Tennessee State next week in the Fargo Dome on the 7th, that's going to